Welcome back. Today we are jumping down a rabbit hole, and I did not mean to fall, and I forgot to bring my climbing gear. So to help me dig through this interesting mess that we are going to find ourselves in is Spawn Trooper, as always.
Plausible
How are you, my
deniability.
friend? Huh?
Hello. Hi. Hello. Apparently, we're not allowed to play anymore. But anyway, I've got some climbing equipment with me. I know you're not having any of it. Nope. It's called a parachute.
So, what we're getting ourselves into today was how did one of the biggest journalists who helped turn the Murdaugh story into a national obsession end up being held in contempt and owing the court $176,500?
Oh, snap.
If you've only seen the headlines, this sounds simple. Mandy Matney was subpoenaed for a deposition, refused to appear, celebrated with some lemon pound cake, and received a six-figure sanction. But upon further inspection, this case is not that simple. Mandy says she was protecting herself, her sources as a journalist, from attorneys attempting to intimidate and retaliate against her. The Parkers, defendants, say this was never about silencing anybody. They say Mandy possessed relevant information to their case, had possible connections to attorneys involved in the litigation, and deliberately disobeyed a valid subpoena for the court ordered for her to testify. And the judge, he didn't believe a word of Mandy's explanation. But once again, before we decide whether this was an attack on journalism, legitimate discovery, or a completely avoidable legal absolute dumpster fire, we need to understand what Mandy was being asked about. If you know the Murdaugh case at all, you know that family is a legal dumpster fire in itself. This deposition was not directly about Alex Murdaugh and his unaliving trial. It wasn't even ordered in the original Mallory Beach wrongful death case. And if you know the Murdaughs, you know that case, and we will get into that as well. This is going to be a multi-part series because holy rabbit holes. It arose from a separate lawsuit, and this is originally what got me interested in this case, because everybody's been focusing on a particular lawsuit that is involved a lot of online so-called harassment, picking sides. But this case and this deposition arose from a separate lawsuit alleging confidential materials, private photographs, and social media were weaponized to pressure the Beach family into or during litigation with the Parkers Corporation. And if you are unfamiliar, Parkers is a chain of convenience stores here in the Low Country. I drive by like 5 every day.
Why?
So today we are starting back at the beginning. We'll look at who Mandy Matney is, how she became one of the most influential podcaster journalists in the Murdaugh cases, the Parkers litigation, what it's actually about, the attorneys involved, and what the attorneys believe she had information about and what they were entitled to obtain. So the real question is what was she supposed to know? And when did the journalist covering the case potentially become a witness in it? That brings up an important crossover with another case that we were covering on this channel. Y'all know, I'm not going to name it, but if you know, you know.
You know.
We know. When does being a journalist covering a case cross the line into being part of the case?
Yeah. And also, just to make absolutely sure, I have brought my friend with me, as you can see behind me, standing behind me, my personal protection, yes. With this rabbit hole, yes.
So as you can see, This is detailed, complicated, and the more I started reading things, the more I started seeing things, and the deeper I got. And then I made a connection to this and that and this and that. And
like the Minority Report. I mean, it's like if you're going to report on something, you report on it. You don't become part of it. This is why I always say, don't become emotionally involved in the topic.
And this is why this is going to be a multi-part stream. We're going to do this possibly every Wednesday. It for a while because this is a rabbit hole in itself. And I'm interested in Murdaugh. Murdaugh is like my backyard. I live in Georgia, but this is kind of I live in the low country, let's put it that way. And with that being said, no, ma'am, not up. No. With that being said, there is just a lot to unpack culturally, historically, and the fact that Murdaugh is getting a new trial, this has all come to the surface. And then this contempt order was July 13th. So this is super recently. And it goes back to the very beginning about when this all started and certain other things that this is just a rabbit hole.
Is it me, or like, I mean, am I just clutching at thin air, or is it all because money seems to be so it always seems that money has to be part of everything. This is about I mean, if you look at all these cases that we've looked at and everything else, in the center of every single case, it's about how much money you can get, how much you want, and I mean, it's always about money.
Yes and no. In this case, we'll get into, because FYI, Spawn has absolutely no idea who Mallory Beach is.
Yep. I'm going in this blind,
Alex
guys.
Murdaugh is, besides the fact of him getting a new trial and listening to me talk about the Supreme Court decision and watch the hearing on scheduling a new trial. Other than that, he has absolutely no idea about the housekeeper, the financial crimes, the boating accident. We are going to get in all of that because we are starting from the beginning.
I'm afraid. Because I'll tell you one thing, right? People say I don't know shit about American law, or I don't know anything about the Americanese. Now, I'm coming in on this blind, ladies and gentlemen, Ewoks and Wookiees, and I want my mummy. This is honey, no.
And before we get started down our rabbit hole, yesterday's stream, when I told you all that it would probably get demonetized, it has gotten demonetized. So if you can please send me any Starbucks money you got, let me know. Because
I think I as a parent myself, I found that topic extremely interesting, because you do get different people's opinions, and however, I think topics like that, I'm not saying it's you, I'm saying it's YouTube frown upon those type of topics, because we're talking about youngsters and stuff. So
money, power, influence, and crimes against children are a no-go on YouTube.
Yeah.
But it's one of the things that I feel needs to be talked about the most, because in order to fix the problem, we need to bring light to the BS people involved.
Yeah. I must admit though, like when you said, "Oh, I've got a topic to discuss. Would you like to join me?" And I was like, "Yeah," because like I like walking into a dark room with no light on, and here I am now, afraid of the dark.
There's snakes on the floor.
I don't mind
hunting
snakes.
Properties. There's water. There's accidents. And thanks to everybody in chat. Sorry I didn't say hi to you individually, but we got a lot to go through.
Yeah, it's like an episode from Dallas. Let's go.
You think Levy County is historically bad, and there's some rabbit holes in there? Not so much with a court thing or a police, but we're just going to get into some like deep-rooted family drama here. So, Mandy Matney, the center of the initial headline that I saw and read, and it interested me because of being a YouTuber. Where does being a commentator cross the line into being a journalist, cross the line into being a witness, all of that stuff. So it caught my mind or caught my attention that a podcaster was being held in civil contempt. And it made me think of a certain other case where people are interviewing lawyers, having lawyers on, acting as lawyers or trying to act as lawyer or PR. Where does advocating or being reporting on a topic and then become advocating, become inserting yourself in as a witness? And Heidel, I see you. It says pin me. Pin me.
I'll pin you.
Yeah. And this right here, Jeannie Newman. The Murdaugh case is so complex. The trial won't go the way the first one did. That one held my attention for sure. Yeah, and this particular topic that we will be talking about for the next 5 weeks, possibly more, depending on how many more rabbit holes I find myself digging down. No, ma'am, you can sit down there. You're fine. Is actually nothing to do with Murdaugh himself in the direct sense of his potential crimes.
Oh, wait a minute. I remember this nugget. I think I remember it.
And
Mama?
King Bob, thanks for being a member for 22 months. Almost 2 years, is a little excited for her birthday. I think she's a little excited and nervous, and it's been a whole crazy week around here because her party is on Friday, so there will be no stream on Friday. With that, I might stream tomorrow the documents that I would usually talk about on Friday. I might do tomorrow. However, there will be no stream on Friday because that's the day of her party. And then soon after, she starts school. So everybody's like back to work. A lot of my friends who have off for the summer are back to work this week, as well as some a death in the family of a close friend of mine, and among other things. So things are just, 3D world is just kicking everybody's backside right now. So stop, please.
So will she be allowed on her birthday party? Will she be allowed to sing, "It's my party and I cry if I want to, cry if I want to cry"?
I don't know. Are you going to cry on your birthday? You won't cry right now because I won't let her up in my lap because we're, All right. So getting back into this, we're going to go, and she's fine. She's right here. She just wants to sit in my lap, and I'm trying to break her of the habit of being on camera. So, Oh, happy early birthday, King Bob. My birthday is on Friday, so you can celebrate my 60th and her 4th at the same time. I will do that. Well, cheers to you. All right.
Wait a minute. King Bob, oh, you little liar. You told me you were 22.
He didn't. He's been a member for 22 months. He is one of my first members. I can't remember exactly who my first member was, but
I'm trying to compliment him. Just go with it. Just go with it.
Sorry, I love you, King Bob, but ain't nobody gonna believe you're 22 years old.
What, you calling him an old git then, are you?
No, I'm just saying he's been married longer than that.
Yeah, I can just imagine him turning around and say, "I've got underwear older than you."
Pretty much.
Yeah.
All right. So getting back into the topic at hand. Oh, I did find it. For those of you who are on my Discord, you know where I found it.
Before we get into the topic, can you please explain where you were when you took that off before you lost it?
In the kitchen.
And who you were talking to?
I was on the phone with you.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was video chatting you.
Yeah. Mama Squid, was there. Everyone was there, and basically we were chatting away. You took it off, and I told you from day one. But I'm glad you got it back because now you seem more relaxed now.
Yeah, it amazes that when you can find a missing diamond, things get a little less.
Yes. Yes.
No, Angel.
Diamonds are forever.
Pretty much. Diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Who sang that? That was Beyonce, wasn't it?
No.
Oops.
No.
Sorry.
So, yes, see right here. Like, we've been married almost as long as Squid has been alive. That's why I was like, nobody's going to believe that he's 22. No offense to him, but he's been married longer than that. All right.
Just one more quick thing before we do crack on. I bought some tissues from the store, okay, and they're from Kleenex, and they smell like an old person. Why would they smell like old people?
Because you're using them?
Oh god, that smells good. Sorry.
No, don't call Grandpa.
Hello, Mama Squid.
Yes, it is. Now go. Sit down right here. No. We're never going to get through this. She does start school in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. All right. So, as I was saying, Mandy Matney. Some of y'all have heard of her, and some of y'all are like, "Who is that?"
you cheeky fuck. That's it, King Bob. Move out, pack your kit, get out of my house.
Derailed right there. All right.
Blame King Bob.
All right. Mandy Matney. Let's focus. 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 All right. Mandy's an investigative journalist, author, podcaster, founder of an independent media company named Luna Shark Media. She did not discover the Murdaugh story after the murders of Paul and Maggie. Turned the family into a national crime phenomenon or whatever. She was reporting on the Murdaugh family before most of the country knew the name. She's originally from Kansas, worked in Missouri and Illinois, and did a whole bunch of stuff before she moved to South Carolina. And she eventually became a reporter and a breaking news editor at the Island Packet in Hilton Head. And if you know this area, Hilton Head, not far from Savannah. That placed her in the Low Country in February of 2019, when 19-year-old Mallory Beach was unalived after a boat allegedly operated by Paul Murdaugh crashed near Parris Island. And if y'all know Parris Island, you know that's Marine Corps boot camp. The crash exposed a story much larger than one night on a boat. Questions emerged about underage drinking, alcohol purchases, the conduct of law enforcement at the crash scene, the influence of the Murdaugh family, and whether Paul received preferential treatment. Mandy began reporting on this crash, the criminal charges against Paul, and the wrongful death lawsuit filed by Mallory's family. That lawsuit named several defendants, including members of the Murdaugh family, and Parker's, the convenience store that is alleged to have sold alcohol to Paul while he was underage and allegedly using his brother Buster's ID. So at that point, she was a traditional local newspaper, and she literally left that and went to another place where her coverage of the Murdaugh family continued. And then in 2021, she launched the Murdaugh Murders podcast with another journalist, Liz Farrell. Only days after she started that podcast, Maggie and Paul Murdaugh were found murdered at Moselle. So it's an interesting, and I have to go get the little off the potty. I will be right back. Mama duties ensue. If you have a problem with me being a mom first, focus in a different way. Spawn, you do know when I'm not there, you can physically speak, right? You're not barred from talking.
I was muted the whole freaking time. Fuck. No, because I just found that I was just saying, I just
You're
found the
very,
article. I'll just.
your audio is weird.
Is it good, bad, what?
Bad. It's crackly.
1 second.
And I do have a super chat for every $50 on super chat. I will mute Spawn for 5 minutes.
Fuck it, I'll leave if you want.
I'm kidding. Sort of. All right. So
1 second.
days.
Okay. Can I just point this out, what I was saying while I was muted? How's that? Does it sound better?
It still sounds funky, but is it just me or is it? Whoop. Let's see if he comes back. I really don't think anyone has a problem with that. When he comes back, I'll have him pop back in and see if it was just a weird setting. It might be Restream just being Restream. Sounds clear on this side of the screen, no crackle. Then it might have been me. Interesting. I don't know. Let's see how he sounds when he comes back. All right. You there?
A fucking mute button. Yeah, I'm back. So it sounds all right on my side because I just tested it really quickly.
All right, then it's probably my speakers, but it happens.
Yeah, no, I just found the a newspaper report in regards of and what I was saying is I was reading it out. Obviously, I was reading it out loud. And caught for her resisting to sit for a court-ordered deposition. Someone else fucking was supposed to do that. But anyway,
and that's what was originally funky to me. That's what originally caught my eye about this. Before I fell down the rabbit hole of Murdaugh, I didn't realize that it was Murdaugh. My original,
but
the headline of it was journalist refuses to sit for deposition sanctioned. Sounds like somebody else we know.
Exactly. And here's my question though. It says here that she wanted to be interviewed or deposed in a safe space. What any safer place have you got in a fucking courtroom?
Yeah, and we'll get to that. You're putting the cart before the horse, which happens all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, you're getting ahead of us. We're still trying to figure out who she is because a lot of the chat might not know who she is.
Okay, I'll slow down to human speed then.
So
you should know me by now. I freaking go 200 miles an hour.
I know, but we gotta set a scene here, give some context into why she may have been wanted to testify by the defense the defense in this case.
Mm-hmm. Okay, people, start getting them super chats in to silence me. Come on, get them coming in.
So, as the investigation into Murdaugh, Paul and Maggie's unalivings expanded, so did her podcast. And her collaborators not only covered the unalivings, but also Alex Murdaugh's financial crimes, the Gloria Satterfield settlement, the housekeeper, Stephen Smith's death, and the institutions and professional relationships surrounding the Murdaugh family. So the podcast developed a very large audience and helped make her one of the most recognizable reporters associated with the case.
Mm-hmm.
So they renamed the podcast True Sunlight. So if you've ever heard of True Sunlight, that is the original Murdaugh Murders podcast, allowing them to expand their coverage beyond just the Murdaugh family. So she also wrote the book, The Blood on Their Hands, and served as executive producer on Hulu's dramatized Murdaugh series. So that's her resume. But for today's story, her proximity to the people and the litigation matters just as much as her professional accomplishments. She developed sources within the Murdaugh cases. She communicated with attorneys, victims' representatives, and people connected to the litigation. She also became publicly aligned with certain attorneys and advocates for the work she was covering. And to be very clear, having sources and professional relationships does not prove any misconduct, and I am not accusing her of any misconduct. I am simply reporting on what may and speculating on what the defense in the case involved might want out of her. And these sources don't surrender as journalists or their status as journalists merely because they know or communicate with people involved in a case. But Parker's, the convenience store, argues that Mandy was not relevant simply because she published stories they disliked. Its attorneys wanted to know whether she possessed information about the alleged distribution of private information, confidential materials, mock jury or focus group exercises conducted for the Beach family attorney Mark Tinsley, communications with the Tinsley and any compensation connected to that work. And she had said previously that she was not involved in those exercises, has not been paid, and possessed no responsive documents. She also argued forcing her to testify threatened confidential sources and violated South Carolina's reporter's privilege. But none of that prevented Parker's from wanting to question her and getting the judge to, and persuading the court basically to subpoena her. And she tried to avoid the deposition entirely. And that gives the central premise of the document and the order from the judge. Mandy describes herself as a journalist targeted because of her reporting threatened powerful people. I can understand that completely. Parker's describes her as a potential witness and is forcing her to testify due to her potential relationships and issues with relevant information in their discovery process. It's that good old discovery where all the skeletons come out of the closet. So be careful when you have skeletons in your closet. But both descriptions of people start with the undisputed reality of Mandy was deeply embedded in this reporting surrounding the Mallory Beach and Murdaugh murders. This disagreement over what proximity means is part of the issue. Did the disagreement over make her a well-sourced journalist, or did it make her a participant with one side legally? Hence why this was interesting to me from the very beginning.
Question.
There's a difference between reporting and aligning yourself with one side and knowing too much about too much. Could it make her both a journalist and a fact witness? Here is what we are questioning. So this is what the deposition was supposed to be about, and understand why those questions mattered. We need to look at the two lawsuits viewers most likely confused: the original Mallory Beach wrongful death case and the later civil conspiracy lawsuit where Mandy's subpoena actually came out of. I knew about the first wrongful death lawsuit. I did not know about the second lawsuit with the civil conspiracy. That is where things get super interesting. Like super, super interesting. So, Oh, wow. I didn't think of that angle. And I'm sorry I'm not paying a whole bunch of attention to chat today. I just have, like, I went down rabbit holes last night and wanted to make sure that we, I planned out 5 live streams to talk about certain things. I would say hi, but the peasants don't want me to speak. Shush. Spawn, you're fine.
I was going to ask a question, but you fucking shushed me.
I didn't shush you.
Oh, okay. My question is this: is it me, or am I getting a distinct feeling that this Mandy character was she related to anybody? Because that's what it sounds like.
Hello. I don't think
it's like if she had why did she turn into a primary witness or whatever if she was not related to anybody? But from what I've heard so far, it sounds like she was related or in a relationship with someone from that Murdaugh case, or that's the impression I'm getting from this. I mean, like you said to these guys, I don't know nothing about this case, but that's the impression I'm getting.
It's
that was loud. I'm sorry.
Hold on.
Oh no, Gail, no, you all of you want me to be quiet, so I'm going to be quiet when she talks. Unless you super chat, then it's official.
It is Nana. Yes. Yeah. Oh, I did. If I do, because Spawn keeps putting the cart before the horse. Yes. Okay. So these 2 lawsuits. So 2019 Mallory Beach wrongful death lawsuit. The gist of it is what happened the night of the boat crash, why they sued, why Parker's was named, and we kind of got into that.
Mm-hmm.
So now that we understand her proximity to all of this, those 2 lawsuits are kind of vital. And yeah, his horse is running over his ass. Oh my goodness. All right. And I have all the wrongful death stuff. I have all my sources here. I just gotta find them. Let's see. All right. I'm trying to find my
Do you know what? I'm so glad I don't have to go shopping with Gail or Heidel or any of the others because they can't make their mind up. Talk, Spawn Trooper, or shush. Talk, shush. Talk. Make your freaking mind up, will you?
Talking is one thing, but putting the cart before the horse and getting into certain parts of it.
I was.
Spawn. Dad says, Spawn, don't change your habits.
I'm not going to change my habits. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it.
He's too old to change his habits.
Anyway, no. From what I've heard so far, right? Because you've dragged me into something that I don't know about. To me, it sounds like she was personally involved in the whole thing somewhere.
And that's what we will read her. We will read her subpoena.
Yeah, can I just finish before you carry on?
Yeah.
That I believe she's involved, somewhere. A journalist or someone covering a story or a topic like we do, or personally on our own platforms and other platforms, when we cover stuff, we discuss it. We give our personal opinion. And to me, it's sounding like she has a personal involvement of what's happened, and then she took it onto her platform and then progressed from there. That's the impression I'm getting. I mean, I may be wrong.
Well, what was interesting to me is some of the things that were written and why I came up with the narrative I came up with was after she started the Murdaugh Murders podcast, the timing of the murders and the podcast were
Too coincidental?
and I have to go back in my research and look at the exact date because I literally just made notes last night.
Yeah.
Because I was like writing shit down in a frenzy because I'm
Right.
like, oh, we got to talk about this because I was like, oh, we're going to talk about this because I sent it to you. And I'm like, that's a really good article to talk about why where's the line of journalism of crossing into a case, because people ask, well, why don't you talk to anybody, or why don't you want to talk to anybody involved in the other case I'm covering? It's because I don't want to get personally involved. It's because in order for me to stay what I view as somewhat objective, I just choose to isolate and not, involve myself in shit because I just don't want to. But, and that was kind of like, I thought that was going to be an easy, an interesting discussion on why. And then it was like, oh, it spiraled. And it spiraled. And I'm taking verbal notes in my notes app while I'm working. I'm having Speechify read this article to me, read some of these documents to me, and I'm taking verbal notes while I'm trying to work. And it's
so it was either coincidental that she started that podcast, or it was premeditated and she already knew what was going on and therefore jumped on that podcast wagon and then went from there.
It's just a weird thing. The timing is
yeah, I get what you're saying. I get it. Now I'm going to shut up now.
You are, because the Jeff Grady, Volusia One, thank you for the $50 Ko-fi. It says, does Ko-fi count to mute?
Oh, you absolute cockwomble.
I'm sorry. That was hilarious. And technically, I have to thank you twice because that was, that was this. Oh, yeah. There we go. Does Ko-fi count to mute? So that was today.
All right. So, okay. Well, I'm going to start the clock now.
Okay. Yes, it does.
Hello. I'm home.
Can we can somebody else get a mute button for a second? Do you have a mute button? Is it right there?
Hi.
Yep. Grandpa said hi.
Yep.
All right. The timing is suspect. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Like, yeah, a timeline is so important in this case. And this is why from this one and leading into her contempt, I kind of wanted to start from the beginning. When I fell down the rabbit hole, I was like, oh, this is just a thing. All forms of tip go towards mute. Oh, and I appreciate you guys because we all know it's one big joke. So this is the original Mallory Beach wrongful death complaint that Parker's settled. I'm not sure the exact settlement. I want to say around $15 million. I don't know that for sure, so don't quote me. But we are just going to go through this really quickly. It is only 11 pages. The plaintiff alleges that she's duly appointed personal representative of the estate of Mallory Beach, that she and decedent were at all times relevant here and residents of South Carolina. Upon information and belief, defendant Gregory Parker, a.k.a. Parker's Corporation, also known as Parker's Kitchen. Hereinafter, Parker's is a foreign corporate entity which maintains agents and employees, transacts business, owns and or manages real estate, and otherwise connected by ownership to a gas station and convenience store located in South Carolina. For those who benefit, a beer and wine sales permits were issued for their business. I hear you. I hear you. I really do. Hey, Musi, how are you? Upon information and belief, Parker's has undertaken and is charged with duties of care at law by reason of their ownership, operation, marketing, management, maintenance, alcohol sales, and other exercise of control. Parker's is a for-profit company. Defendant Luther's Rare and Well Done, LLC, is a business formed existing under the laws of South Carolina with its principal place in Beaufort County and at all times hereto owned, operated, and maintained a restaurant and bar for whose benefit a beer and wine and liquor sales permit was issued for the business. There are for-profit defendants Christy Wood and James Wood are citizens and residents of South Carolina. Defendant Richard Alexander Murdaugh is a citizen and resident of Hampton County, South Carolina. And Richard Alexander Murdaugh Jr. is a citizen and a resident of Hampton County, South Carolina. So they also go into more, there's a lot of defendants in this. Defendant Richard Alexander Murdaugh Jr. is over 21 and age of knowingly and willfully allowed his younger brother, who is under the age of 21, to use his driver's license to purchase and consume alcohol illegally. Further, it was foreseeable that his minor brother would use the license to purchase alcohol for consumption by other minors, and the defendant had actual knowledge that the license was so used. I mean, this is the first time that I've actually read through this lawsuit. I had heard about this. I knew about the boat crash during the first trial. However, I'd never actually read. Spawn Trooper, what an effort. Can he actually go for 5? He still is muted. He muted himself. I didn't mute him. I don't know if that nullifies the time and we have to start over or what. But I'm sure I'll hear about it. Should I unmute him? Oh, I can't. Damn. That are about the 23rd day of February 2019. Parker's knowingly and willfully sold alcoholic beverage to Murdaugh's minor son under the age of 21, who shared the beverages with other minors after the minor displayed driver's license of his adult brother. The agent, yes, I got it. Who made the sale should have known that the license was used by a minor to make this purchase was not his. I mean, they weren't twins, let's put it that way. I love you, but you gotta stay quiet. It's okay. The minors referenced in paragraph 21 became intoxicated after consuming alcohol illegally purchased from Parker's. The minors consumed alcohol on the island prior to taking a boat to party at the Woods' home. On or about the 23rd day of February 2019, the Woods hosted a party at their home in Beaufort County, South Carolina, which the same minors under the age of 21 were knowingly and intentionally served or caused to be served alcoholic beverages. Further, the Woods knew or should have reasonably known these people between the ages of 18 and 20. The only problem that I have with this entire lawsuit is their daughter was under the age of 21 as well, and made the decision to, and that's 5 minutes, by the way.
Yep, so, 5 minutes, 30 seconds.
And Jeannie, how are you? It didn't mute him since he's been harassing me on Discord. Sheep must be out in pasture and he's bored.
Shut up, you lazy git. Get your ass out of bed.
Shouldn't chat be in on that 5 minutes of no talking?
No. I have no.
Bob, that's hurting my engagement. Thank you.
You said talk, nothing else.
Yeah, because that allowed me to get through 4 pages. Thank you.
I can leave if you like.
No. I wouldn't have invited you if I didn't want you here, but I built in derailing time. I built these streams to be about 6 minutes long, if no interruptions.
I don't know why they're having to dig at me about talking, because I don't know jack about this case, so I should be allowed to ask questions, but I've had my 5 minutes, 5.5 minutes, so there you go.
This was the original case. This was not the case that we're talking about. But this is just a background on the separation of the 2 cases. So, additionally, the Woods undertook a duty not to provide a safe haven for the minors to illegally consume alcohol, undertook a duty not to allow the minors to leave their home in an intoxicated state, and a duty to supervise the minors' consumption of alcohol is to not allow them to unnecessarily endanger themselves or others, including Mallory Beach. And I understand them being grieving parents. And I understand mistakes were made by all minors. However, your daughter was not without making a mistake of her own that contributed to her own demise.
I'm still a little bit confused about the United States legal age to drink alcohol, considering when you're already an adult and you've got younger people going on deployments into war zones. So
trust me, when my parents were younger, it was 18.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, because you've got that age limitation, like you have to be 21 to drink alcohol. I mean, how many people actually go by that law? And then looking at that, you've got three people. Well, you've got three apparently underage drinking alcohol, but they are classified as adults. So it's a bit of a contradictory law.
Well, and this is also where criminal charges and civil, you should have to pick one or the other. I don't think that you should be able to criminally charge someone and civilly charge them or sue them civilly, especially when your daughter was drunk too. And if she wasn't, if she was sober, like she made the decision to get in a boat with people she knew were drunk. I mean, I feel like civil litigation in this country has gotten to the point of absolving the victim of all self-responsibility and placing all the responsibility on another person. It's like, I feel bad that she passed away, and I don't think that any of them were right. However, it's one of those, like, your daughter was drinking too.
Yeah. So
your daughter got in a boat with drunk people.
So was the charge murder or manslaughter?
I don't remember at this point. I used to know. Back when the first trial happened, I used to know.
Right, because I'm still trying to get my head around the fact that we're talking about adults who are legally adults. However, you got that drinking limitation of 21.
Yeah, so, well, get over it, because that
no. Hear me out on this one. Hear me out on this one, because if they are at home drinking, is the law still enforced even at home?
Yeah.
Okay.
However, but I was in a bar with my parents at like 14 drinking. So, because I'm in Wisconsin, and legally in Wisconsin, as long as you are with a parent or guardian, you can drink under the age of 21.
Right. Okay.
Figure that one out. It's state dependent as well. It was, yeah. Here's the funny part. The worst part was running into your father at the same liquor store when you were supposed to be in school.
Yeah.
Mom. Yeah. I won't tell your mother if you don't tell your mother, was the words I heard came out of that liquor store that day.
Mommy in the house.
Yes.
It's a very confusing topic, that part.
Yeah, that's a cultural.
No. I'm talking about the fact, right? Like, I think you're misunderstanding. What I'm saying is, there is a different, like, say, argument's sake, drinking alcohol, you have to be 21 and above. Right, fine, we got that. Now take that away when you're on private property or you're at your own home.
You still have to be 21 or older. Because if the cops come, if you're having a party and the cops come, you can get charged intoxicated or drinking while under, I can't remember what the exact charge is. And the adults can be charged with providing alcohol to a minor.
Even if they're adults?
Yes.
Oh.
If they hand you the drink, they can be charged. Except in Wisconsin in a bar.
Okay, carry on.
Yeah.
Carry on.
I took Squid into a bar preteen and gave her a beer. And people wonder why I am the way I am.
Yeah.
But Musi, thanks for the $5 or £5 super chat. We should do another live together sounds good to me. We just got to find a time that works, because right now I'm not really sure what my schedule is going to be like, because this little one goes to school and this time will no longer work for me because I have to be in pickup line for school. So I don't know what, yeah. While at the Woods home, the Woods provided and allowed the minors to consume alcohol despite their increasing intoxication and despite knowledge that upon leaving their home, the minors would operate a boat with their faculties and judgment grossly and dangerously impaired. After the minors consumed alcohol at the Woods home, one of the minors drove to Luther's by boat. 2 of the minors were allowed into Luther's during the late hours of February 23rd and the early hours of February 24th of 2019. And the agents and employees of Luther's negligently sold and served the minors alcohol, despite their being underage and intoxicated, in violation of South Carolina law. So as the defendant Parker's in selling alcoholic beverages to a patron they knew should have known was under the age of 21, failing to adequately train staff. It's just basically, same thing. Defendant Woods intentionally serving caused to be served alcoholic beverages to a guest under the age of 21. Entrusting their home to minors has provided a safe haven for minors to consume alcohol in violation of the law and then operate a boat in an intoxicated state. In failing to use a degree of care and caution reasonably imprudent person would have exercised under the same or similar circumstances. The Luther's bar, kind of the same thing, trained supervised personnel and employees, hiring employees who were insufficiently trained or qualified, failing to implement policies and standards. You should have known they were under 21. You served them anyway. So, but here's knowingly and willfully allowing his minor son under the age of 21 to use his other son's driver's license to purchase alcohol, and failing to supervise his son when he knew he should have known that the minor was using another's license. And as much as I hate and I don't like Murdaugh as a person, I think he's a shitty human being, this is like, one, not unusual. And if Richard Alexander, if Alex Murdaugh Jr. is 21, how is his father supposed to know what the hell he's doing? Like, this is where I'm like, you know what I mean? This person right here is not a good person. I don't think he's a good person at all. However, how is he supposed to know what his 21-year-old son is doing with his above 18-year-old son? Like, they're both adults. How is he supposed to, like, is he supposed to be that helicopter parent that, like, you have to know everything your child is doing at all times? Even when they're grown-ass adults? Like, so this was like, I don't understand this. This was just a money grab to me in this sense. This one I get. You let your brother use your ID. That one I sort of get. Just Alec Murdaugh, I don't understand. And will never understand. I don't know. That just seemed like a money grab to me. So, knowing willfully providing his minor brother under the age of 21 with his driver's license to purchase alcohol. Knowing and willfully allowing his minor brother to use his driver's license for purchasing and consuming minor alcohol by minors, including his brother. Whatever.
So I like the fact that they forgot to add in there about the fact that he was driving the vehicle under the influence.
Well, this is not
Oh, right, good.
The person who actually drove the boat and crashed the boat is not actually a defendant in this case. Another interesting.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So Murdaugh. Well, Randolph Murdaugh III. Yeah, I guess he was. But
okay.
Yeah, he was.
Mommy,
They use.
that's up.
Hi.
Oh, bless. Oh, that was sweet.
So it's just a as to defendants Randolph Murdaugh the third and Murdaugh right here. This is another thing. I'm like, lawyers, if you're gonna write shit, residents. I know you're from South Carolina, but come on,
Resident.
You're forgetting an E.
Resident. Trying to use a posh word there, are you?
Yeah. The defendants owed Mallory Beach and the public at large common law or duties of care, or undertook these duties of care, that the defendants breached their duties as aforesaid. The result of her death and beneficiaries of Miss Beach have endured grief, sorrow, shock, wounded feelings, mental anguish, the loss of support, love, and companionship, along with other damages. I get it. However, like when people throw all these lawsuits around, it's like if you actually break the lawsuit down, your daughter was involved in underage drinking as well. That possibly contributed to her death as well.
Mm-hmm.
Not just, and I'm very sorry she lost her life. However, she was drinking too. She knowingly and willfully got into a boat with other minors who were intoxicated and thought that was a good idea. She contributed to her unaliving as well.
The only sentence that's getting me a little bit perturbed is whereof plaintiff prays for a joint and several award against the defense. I mean, it's like, really? That's a money grab right there.
Well, putting Murdaugh in here, I feel like is a money grab because both of his sons were adults.
Yeah.
Buster being over the age of 21, and his other son being over the age of 18.
I mean, the thing is,
Paul being over the age of 18.
Yeah.
And
but not old enough to drink. Yeah. I mean, look, if you're going to drink and then do something, I mean, what I can't understand, was there anything said in this case so far where someone tried to stop them from getting onto the vessel?
Not that I'm aware of.
Right. Okay.
So this was just the original complaint. This wasn't the, like I said, this is a lot of this is background.
Got
because
you.
This is a rabbit hole.
Got you.
This is a rabbit hole. This is a rabbit hole. This is a deep rabbit hole. So we're starting with like a scratch and sniff sticker. You know, just scratching the surface, kind of getting our feet wet, toeing around the shallow end before we like.
Well, I've already got two points that from this, just this alone.
What's up?
Well, the first thing is, it's very easy to put blame to everybody who was involved. I get that. However, there's no, like I just said, there's no mention of, was there any ability to stop them? Who gave them the key for the vessel? Who did the parents say, yes, you can use it? No, you can't use it. Did they go against the instructions from an adult? Stuff like that. And the second thing is, right, we already know about the alcohol and everything else. If there were adults present, why didn't they fucking cut it off?
I don't know, but here, poor Squid never had a chance. Both my parents are in the chat. Both my parents are in the chat talking, and Cam said, "Poor Squid never stood a chance." I mean, facts. I don't know if that's what a South Carolina does have a modified comparative negligence system in civil law. It basically allows contributory responsibility for torts up to 50% blame for damages. Interesting. And this is why I love having a lawyer in the chat. And like, and Jeff, do not do not take this the wrong way. When you hear this, you're going to cringe. You're going to smack the phone or smack the computer, whatever you're watching on. But like, I am very sorry that all this medically complicated stuff has happened. And I am glad you are soon to be headed home.
Yes.
However, without the slight complications and in sidewaysness of our current situation, we never would have gotten to know your son and your wife and your daughter-in-law. So, I mean,
just take your time getting home, because I know what I'm going to be getting as soon as you get home. He's got fucking 3 months to catch up on. Oh crap!
And Jeff, your wife is a badass.
Yes, she is.
She's a badass.
She is.
Like,
they all are.
They all are. But
yeah,
your wife is a badass. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
The boat owner is ultimately responsible. They were drunk. The boat driver. But look how Squid turned out. It's taken me a lot of therapy to get where I am. Just kidding.
You have no clue how many medications I have to take after 3 hours of talking to Squid.
Well, I'm not doing this shit again. Well, I can understand that. I can understand that.
So, hey, Jeff, just a quick question, mate. Can you touch your toes yet?
All right.
I see where Gail's coming from about, but the thing is, there's a difference between the boat owner.
Does this explain a lot? This comment right here.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Does this not explain a lot?
Yeah.
All right. So going into the boat crash. So the boat crash was all 6 of the minors. They were legal adults, but they were under the age of 21. Were aboard the Murdaugh boat. The boat crashed near Archers Creek Bridge. I don't have a map to show you guys where that is. 19-year-old Mallory Beach was thrown from the boat and killed. I emphasize 19 years old. Old enough to make better decisions about your life.
Mm.
I'm not saying that the Murdaughs and
it's unfortunate that
all were not at fault in some respect. However, sometimes I feel like as a society, when something happens and a tragic event happens, we also have to admit to ourselves that our daughter fucked up.
Yeah.
Our daughter got in the boat having alcohol in her system, knowing that her friends were drunk as well, and made the decision to get in a car I'm having a flashback. A boat with people who were drinking.
And also, can I just point something out before you carry on? No one knows if they were sitting down, standing up, or messing about on that boat when the incident occurred.
Yeah, I'm kind of having a flashback to when I was in like 8th grade and I got in a car with some people and we got in a car accident. So kind of having a little flashback there. I should have made a better decision. You ever had a seatbelt make you bleed? I have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Love that squid you made. Which one? This one? That's.
No, they're talking about Mama and Papa Squid making squid.
Squid. All right. The complaint alleges that Paul Murdaugh was operating the boat while intoxicated. That's just a little brief overview of the boat and that lawsuit. Like I said, this is deep. This is a lot. And we are not, so that explains why Parker's was involved in all of this. Because you're like, how does a convenience store and it's like the start of a bad joke. How does a convenience store and a podcaster end up in a lawsuit and in civil contempt? Just... but it still doesn't explain why Mandy Matney was subpoenaed. For that, we have to move on to the lawsuit about Mallory's death, to a second lawsuit about what happened behind the scenes while that case was being fought. Are you seeing the similarities while about how one lawsuit pops up while another one is going on?
Yep. Yep.
And you see why this was like interesting to me from a comparative perspective before I started rabbit hole, you know.
Yeah, I hear you, I hear you on that one. Yeah.
Like I was that's why I sent it to you, because you were like, what's our topic? And I'm like, I have so many things, but I have so many things to talk about, but nothing's really like, I need to talk about this, or I really want to talk about this. It's like, well, I could talk about that. I could, do an update on this. Nothing's really like, I have to talk about this. And then I was looking through some stuff, and that name popped up and that headline popped up that I sent you, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then, with the rabbit hole of
and I was jumping in there with both feet and didn't even know what the hell's going on.
I didn't either. And then I was like, oh, Murdaugh, this should be even more interesting. And then it's like, oh, the boat crash, Mallory B. Oh, what did we get ourselves into?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
Just for the record, if I blink twice, or I give you the hand signal, I want to be saved.
I mean,
and here I am blinking like a crazy man. I mean, I'm interested to see how this Mandy case and this first case, I want to see how they connect. I want to see the connection. That's actually a good idea. I think I'm going to have a drink on this one.
Have a drink. Take your time. Get yourself a little sniff of your tell the truth body butter.
Is it tatty?
Nope. It smells like candy. What's it smell like?
Tatty.
Candy?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tell the truth's vanilla body butter, and we need a
Oh, it's
and
tatty.
the QR code for that, ladies and gentlemen, is in the top right hand corner if you desire to smell candy.
Oh, so my uncomfortable heat rash that I had yesterday.
Yeah,
I was uncomfortable and itchy. I put the F-bomb on it.
I told you.
I was a little unsure of putting F-bomb on it because of it being so thick. And then it was like, oh, that's perfect. And
right now, I want you to tell them what I said to you in our conversation. I told you to do that, didn't I?
Yes, that's true. But, there's always the sense of like trying new things and being the experiment. So I have a really bad heat rash, and it's still there. It didn't go away all the way. But compared to when Mr. Squid was like, oh, that looks terrible.
Mommy,
leave him to be the honest one. And now it looks like 10,000 times better in a day because I put my Tallow Truth F-bomb on it. And yep, rub it in your hands. Yep. There you go. Good job. So
I'm glad that worked for you.
It was small. It was just like a normal, like, I mean, they were in the ocean, so it wasn't it wasn't huge, but it wasn't tiny either. It was an average sized fishing boat.
Probably about a 30-footer.
It's tatty.
It smells like candy. Yeah, it does. So here's the civil conspiracy / outrage. Yeah.
Mommy, I want down.
Okay. You want to put it on your legs too?
No, I want to do this.
Okay. So, getting in, it worked. Yeah, it did work. I was like shocked as hell. I mean, both that and the aloe was a double healing, I bet. Yeah, I'm thinking, but nothing like the aloe was working, but it wasn't like working amazingly. The F-bomb, I put it on last night and it was like, Squid, the tallow truth has helped or fixed everything so far. Yeah, that I don't understand. Sometimes it's like is it the beef tallow, is it the honey, or is it the frankincense? I don't know, but either way, it helped. But we are getting beside ourselves here. So, but if you want 12% off, use my code. It works. Or scan, if you're watching on TV, scan the QR code right there.
Top right hand corner, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
No.
I'm going to be a step great grandma in March. Congratulations. Say congratulations.
Is that business? Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, I saw it yesterday. Her rash was pretty bad. Glad it looks better today. It is Nana. Yes, ma'am. So, all right. So this is from the mother of Mallory Beach, Renee. Philip Beach, her dad. Robin, her stepmom. Her sister, Savannah. Her brother. Upon information and belief, okay, well, we're going to skip who the defendants are because it's literally the same people. Stop. Defendants Max Fertotti, Henry Rosado, Private Investigator Service Group are all citizens of South Carolina who worked with Parker Greco and DeCruz in furtherance of a plan to launch and present a social media campaign to inflict severe emotional distress upon the plaintiffs to diminish their resolve. Stop. I love you, but stop. To diminish their resolve to prosecute Parkers for contributing to the death of Mallory Beach in the civil action and arranged for or participated in the distribution of confidential mediation and other private materials to Vicky Ward and others. The court has jurisdiction over the parties here too and the subject matter hereof. Okay. So prior to September 14th, 2021, defendants Parker, Greco, and DeCruz hired social media knife fighters. I shit you not, that is the legit wording used in the complaint. Social media knife fighters. If that becomes a thing in another case that I am covering, Lord help us all. Lord help us all. And others to affect the proceedings in the civil action and to devise a way to harm the plaintiffs to affect their resolve in prosecuting the civil action. Just so on September 14th, 2021, Vicky Ward was told that a confidential video she had in her possession was in fact confidential and in her possession in violation of confidential mediation process and its rules, an attempt to get the plaintiffs and their counsel to appear in her documentary. Vicky Ward acknowledged that Parker and his law firm, referencing defendant DeCruz's law firm, Baker Hostetler, had an agenda and that she had nothing to do with them other than having their stuff. The plaintiffs and their counsel refused to participate in Ward's documentary. This is deep. Like this rabbit hole is deep. Despite plaintiffs' refusal to participate in Ward's documentary on or before November 24th, 2021, Ward and others whom she is acting in concert published a trailer for the documentary entitled The Murdaugh Murders, featuring portions of the confidential mediation video and photographs of Mallory's body.
Ah, there it is. There it is. That's exactly that bit there, all the way up to the top.
Further, Ward and others with whom she is acting in concert plan to use and publish the remaining portions of the confidential video, including images of the plaintiffs. Please stop. I'm going to put you down.
Now, question. I mean, obviously, they received that in confidence, didn't they? They didn't get it. They didn't find it online. They were given that. So there's my first question. My first notice. The second thing is, right, just by that paragraph 15 alone gives you the exact moment where this began, where, the trailer, the Murdaugh murders, everything. Number 15, there you go. There's your door. There's that rabbit hole.
At no time have the plaintiffs ever agreed in any way to participate in defendant Ward's tasteless and completely obscene production. Upon information and belief, defendant Ward and others aided and abetted other defendants in their civil conspiracy to use their abusive process and violation of the South Carolina ADR to inflict severe emotional distress upon the plaintiffs and to harass them in a manner so unconscionable it shocks the conscience.
Right. That there, that's the line they crossed. That's the line they crossed. 15 and 16 and 17, that's the line they crossed.
Yeah, this is a new case. This case was brought from the other case and actions that were happening behind the scenes during that other case.
Jesus Christ.
It's a rabbit hole in itself, but comparisons can be drawn from a certain case in Florida to this, in the sense of that case in Florida is not the only time where one lawsuit has led to multiple lawsuits. You've also seen it in Karen Reed. Karen Reed's not guilty plea not guilty verdict in Massachusetts has spawned lots of, no pun intended, lots of lawsuits. And then those lawsuits have spawned more lawsuits. Once again, no pun intended.
Well, now that we know where the line was crossed.
I'm glad you didn't. You could have ran with that one.
Yeah. No. I want to concentrate on this because at the end of the day, this is new to me. But like going back up to 15, 16, 17, that is the line they crossed. That's where the line was crossed. This is why this case now exists. Because they used materials they shouldn't have used, and they were pushing the narrative. They wanted to push it. And because they must have had obligations, financial or whatever, to get that out, that's why they put the trailer out. And that is exactly when they crossed that line. And now I've caught up now. But
it's just interesting to
why would you take an image of the deceased and yeah, okay, carry on.
Click, 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 view,
yep.
Click, 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 cha-ching.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to
Yep.
So.
Yep. Even baby Squid got it as well. Bless her cotton.
Yep. Click, 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 click. All right. So the plaintiffs reiterate the allegations above. Defendant Ward and others ratified the initial conspiracy, aided and abetted the initial conspiracy for money and their own personal remuneration, and joined in the conspiracy to harm plaintiffs, invade their privacy, steal their confidential property, and inflict severe emotional distress upon plaintiffs.
Right, that's okay. Whoever's writing this, that's their opinion. However, right, the point is, you just said it there, on personal remunerations, and I don't. It's not. It's all about the money. Oh, for fuck's sake! This is exactly like Florida, just different players. This is exactly like fucking Florida, just different players. But
yeah. But the long story short of this is, if private litigation materials were allegedly being leaked on social media and were allegedly being weaponized, who knew about it and who communicated with the people involved?
And who leaked it? I mean, the only people who could leak it are the people who've got it. And that would only be the plaintiff's counsel or the defendant's counsel. Or family members. Or someone in court. So basically, Ward or whoever these people here, Mandy or whatever her name is, must have had some sort of contact with either someone in court, someone on the court, i.e., like an usher or a police officer, or they had contact, personal contact with either plaintiff counsel or defendant counsel or family members. There's no other anything else. There's no way no. It has to be someone who was dealing with that confidential information, who had physical contact with it. Why am I shouting, by the way?
Because you're passionate. Because none of this shit adds up.
Well, no. I mean, just from 15 to basically from number 15 all the way to here. I mean, we could spend at least 3-4 hours just going through. Right, it's either someone on a plaintiff's family, plaintiff counsel. I mean, we could go across each side and point out people, but
True.
It comes down to who had direct contact to that material.
However, now that we have established what both cases are, we understand the two cases. We understand the original lawsuit and the civil conspiracy lawsuit that spawned from it.
No pun intended.
Where does Mandy Matney fit into this puzzle? And what exactly did Parkers think she knew?
And who is Ward?
Ward is the person who is producing the documentary.
Right. And where does Mandy come into this with him or her?
Her.
So we've got Ward. Okay. So she's the producer. So therefore, to produce, you also need to host. So, and then to host, you also need a co-host sometimes. But
this is a documentary for Hulu. Hulu is like Netflix.
Then you have a director as well.
So, according to Mandy's motion, so we're going to go into this one. I got to share this one. Share this tab. There we go. I have all of these like open and I have to like tell which ones are which. So we're going to close that one. There we go. So this is her motion to quash the subpoena. So according to Matney, the subpoena sought testimony and documents concerning her communications with the Beach family attorney, Mark Tinsley, mock juries or focus groups allegedly conducted for Tinsley, work Mandy may have performed in connection to those exercises and any compensation or payments related to that work, and information concerning the alleged leak of Mallory Beach images. The amended subpoena reportedly narrowed the document. This is what I've been able to find. Requests to communications and payments involving the mock jury or the focus groups. So in her response, she didn't participate in Tinsley's jury mock trials or whatever. She received no compensation. She had no documents. Any relevant information she had came through reporting, public information, or confidential sources. The deposition threatened reporters' privilege. The subpoena was burdensome and intended to intimidate or harass. And Parkers was not merely asking Mandy to defend something she said on her podcast. Its attorneys wanted to determine whether she was reporting only on the litigation or whether she had communicated and worked with Mark Tinsley in a way that made her a witness.
Can you just scroll up for a second?
I can.
Just that. Let me just read that a minute.
You want to read it out loud? So the rest of the class.
Because to help me make sense, because I've noticed something, but I want to keep my mouth shut because I want to read this first. Non-party Mandy Matney, by and through undersigned counsel and pursuant to Rule 45C3A of the South Carolina Rules of Civil Procedure, moves to quash the amended subpoena due to tecum that defendants caused to be served on Miss Matney on October the 20th and amended November 5 to 25 in this matter on the grounds that it may require Matney to reveal privilege. Fuck it, there it is. There it is. Privileged or protected information not subject to a waiver and imposes the undue burden on non-party Miss Matney. Miss Matney is a journalist who was formerly employed as a reporter at Fitz News between January 2020 and August 2022 and is currently employed as a chief executive officer of Lunar Shark Productions, a media company that Miss Madney co-founded in January 2021. Lunar Shark Productions and publish 2 journalistic podcasts per week, Cup of Justice, which is made publicly available every Tuesday, and True Sunlight, which was formerly known as the Murdaugh podcast, every Thursday. The Murdaugh Murder podcast was adapted for a major scripted television series for here we go. Yeah, I fucking knew it. That premiered in October 15, 2025 and releases new episodes every Wednesday. Lunar Shark also produced official companion podcast. The series Lunar Shark is currently produced and published 3 podcasts a week. In addition to the regular podcast release schedule, Lunar Shark produces over public event contests such remastery version. Can you scroll up a little bit?
Yeah, hold on.
Remastered versions of previously published podcasts and email content, host listener events. Miss Matney and her husband David Moses, who is Lunar Director of Business Operations, also has been traveling extensively to promote and create content for the series and will continue to do so in coming months as the new episodes of the series is released. Miss Matney daily work for Lunar Shark allows Lunar Shark to generate revenue, which is primary source of income for Miss Matney and Moses' household.
She's mocking you.
If Miss Matney is unable to work on a particular day, a real and direct consequence is that Lunar Shark fails to generate revenue. I already know what's going on. I already know what's happened. I know what's going on. Scroll it back up. That first paragraph right there on that first page, right, confirms what I was saying before. Basically, she is, or she or he or they are protecting the individual who gave them that confidential information. So I am reverting back to my original comment. It's either someone on a plaintiff or family members, or it's someone on defense family members. It's one of those, one side, or to play devil's advocate, it's someone who works in the court. Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, I rest my case.
So after she had filed this document, so this goes into more of it. Miss Matney is not now, nor has ever been a party. Copy the subpoena. Specifically, defendants appeared to be interested in probing Miss Matney's communications or work performed for plaintiff Mark Tinsley. It's
deflecting.
Yeah.
They're deflecting away from giving them or giving the courts the name of the individual who gave them that stuff.
So this was her motion to quash. It failed. Defendants are unduly burdening Miss Matney by refusing to coordinate deposition and a date that works for Miss Matney's schedule.
Yep.
So we are going to get into her contempt order, because the contempt order is 22 pages.
Oh God! You better start paying to keep me quiet, people. No, what was it? I've already come to a conclusion. I've already come to my conclusion that there is one individual who took classified or restricted information and passed it on for a little bit of filling the pocketbook up type of thing.
Well, and the reason
allegedly,
that I'm not reading her motion to quash and all the other documents combined is the judge's order here explains very succinctly all of that. And all of his reasoning for doing what he does. Oh,
So I
and
was right
now
then.
she has a GoFundMe. Of course she does, which is another interesting turn of events. Me to pay for this $176,500 that she it's a 17-foot boat. Thanks. I knew it was like not a huge boat, but not a tiny boat either. So when
So
I say tiny
basically,
boat, I mean like my John boat.
so
is
different different people, different place, different amounts, but
Same shit.
so it's basically like two different locations, but the same bullshit.
Yeah.
And I was right. Do you know what? I think, considering that I didn't know this case, I think I've done quite well pointing out certain things.
It's same story, different state,
Dave?
except for this actually involves the death of 3 people
Yeah.
in a
which is-
roundabout kind of way.
Yeah. And just for the record, my condolences to the ones who lost family, no matter what.
So the Parkers, and then we're going to kind of skip over some of this because it is 22 pages, and we are not going to read all 22 fucking pages because.
Do you want? Shall I? Right, come on, try and mute me, people. Mute me.
Yeah.
What, you agreeing with me, or wait, what?
Yeah, send them super chats, them Ko-fis, that coffee money, that Starbucks cash, that birthday money, anything.
Oh, wait a minute. Is Jeff?
we're
Are
never
you still
gonna
here?
Jeff has done enough. She set up GoFundMe to pay for these expenses, which just is like the icing on the cake of like
shit.
But here, well, before we discuss the GoFundMe and my thoughts on when reporters or commentators become witnesses, it had 6 people on them. They were all drunk. You can do the math on. You can do the mental imagery on drunk people in a boat, like drunk people in a car. You can't control it. You know? But the Parkers defendants also sought an order compelling Miss Matney to attend a deposition and an extension of time within which to complete discovery. Miss Matney was deposed on April 8th, 2026. On April 1st, after the motion was fully briefed, the court scheduled an evidentiary hearing for April 7th, requiring Miss Matney to appear in person. The parties were advised to contact the court if they had any concerns or questions regarding this matter. At the hearing, sworn testimony was taken from Miss Matney and attorney Mark Tinsley. After carefully considering the motion, Miss Matney's response and supplemental response to the record, arguments of counsel, testimony presented, the court granted Parker's defendants motion for a rule to show cause and ordered Miss Matney to appear at a hearing on May 15th. Turn the volume down, please.
No, I try. Oh.
There you go. All right. Ordered Miss Matney to appear for a hearing on May 15th for her to show cause, if she could, as to why she should not be held in contempt. At the May 15th, 2026 hearing, Miss Matney testified and presented evidence as to why she should not be held in contempt. At the end of the day, May 15th, the hearing was recessed and continued on June 22nd, 2026, with Miss Matney's cross-examination and the testimony of 2 witnesses, attorney Eric Bland and Miss Matney's husband, David Moses. At the end of the hearing, the court took the matter under advisement. So, all right, October 17th of 2025, Parker's defendant served Miss Matney with a subpoena, which notified her for a deposition October 29th at a law firm in Bluffton. After she objected November 5th, the Parker's defendants noticed another deposition at the same location for November 17th. November 12th, Miss Matney filed the motion to quash, or alternatively for a protective order. Miss Matney argued that she was shielded by the reporter's privilege and codified in South Carolina Code. The deposition was an undue burden under Rule 45C3A4 And her testimony lacked relevance. She did not raise any concerns with the location of the notice deposition. November 25th, Miss Matney filed an affidavit in which she
No.
averred that she moved to quash the subpoena because she was not available on the requested date. Her testimony would require her to divulge information protected by reporter's privilege. Shh. I'm gonna put you down. Did you hear that?
Did you just burp into the microphone, young lady?
Excuse me.
Did you just burp? Even Auntie Spawn heard that.
That's you, Mommy.
I am not saying anything. That's funny.
I have
That was funny.
nothing to say. Welcome to my everyday. It's all I can.
The fact that she leant right close to the mic to do that as well. Oh, brilliant.
I mean, y'all, what did I start? Anyway,
Well, at least I can't be blamed for it.
that was not you.
Nope. Like Keel knows.
She explained that she and her husband produced 2 weekly podcasts, are executive producers on a Hulu series, which required travel. And any interruption would negatively affect her household finances. Yeah, and Dads, thanks for the sparkles. She also averred that she did not have any relevant information in this case, and the deposition was part of the Parker's defendant's goal to harass and humiliate her. Court held a hearing November 26th and took the motion under advisement. February 5th, the court denied her motion to quash and motion for a protective order. The court concluded that reporter's privilege did not provide blanket protection from being deposed. Miss Matney's testimony was relevant and she had failed to establish undue burden. February 10th, counsel for Parker's defendants emailed counsel for Miss Matney a subpoena for her deposition on March 2nd, again listing the same location as the previous subpoenas. On February 17th, she filed a motion to reconsider. She argued that she was entitled to protection under reporter's privilege. The deposition would impose undue burden. And that she was subject to unusual harassment related to this litigation. She again did not raise any concerns with the location of the notice deposition. Yeah, I'm getting played. I know. I'm aware. February 18th. This is just a timeline and I'm kind of going fast over it. Ms. Matney responded February 10th email confirming acceptance of the second subpoena and raised no objections as to the listed location. Counsel indicated she was not available March 2nd. And she's mocking me as I sneeze. And changed the deposition date to the 23rd. Accordingly, on February 24th, counsel for Parker's defendant served another subpoena that amended the date to March 23rd, listing the same location as the previous subpoenas. I'm not a fan of the Parker's defendants in the grand scheme of things. However, like something shady here. Something is some serious. Yeah. On March 8th, counsel for Ms. Matney informed the Parker's defendants that because her motion to reconsider remained pending, she did not intend to appear for a deposition on March 23rd. Again, counsel raised no objection to the location. March 11th, her counsel requested that no deposition date be scheduled until the court ruled on her motion to reconsider. Counsel further indicated that she was unavailable March 23rd due to a federal court hearing that had just been scheduled, but it was available the 27th. Again, counsel for Miss Matney raised no objection for the location listed on all of the subpoenas. Something seems shady. March 12th, the court's law clerk asked the parties to provide the court with a scheduling order agreement outlining the selected date the deposition would occur. The next day, counsel for Parker's defendant sent a proposed scheduling agreement to Miss Matney's counsel. Counsel for Parker's defendants also offered to conduct the deposition at either Bluffton location previously identified or the law offices of Maynard Nexon in Columbia. On March 16th, the court denied Miss Matney's motion for reconsideration. Hold on. There's a hair. There we go. Oh. All right. Finding that she failed to present any newly discovered evidence, manifest errors of law or fact, or an intervening change in controlling law that would warrant relief. The court ordered that she be deposed within 14 days of the entry of the order. March 17th, Parker's defendants noticed Miss Matney's deposition for March 27th, the same location in Bluffton as the previous subpoenas. I mean, kind of seems like they're going through a lot of work for nothing. March 19th, having not heard from Miss Matney's counsel, Parker's defendants contacted counsel to confirm the March 27th date has been previously agreed. The next day, March 20th, Miss Matney's counsel responded by stating Miss Matney would not appear at the notice location and only agree to be deposed at another location in Bluffton, the law offices of her lawyer, Meredith Bannon. Why is she making this so hard? This is what I don't understand. If you got nothing to hide, Well,
she does. She has an informant or informants she is trying to protect. And I've heard stories in over the years that journalists will actually go to jail to protect their informants.
And I can understand that to a point. There's just something fishy.
Yeah, it doesn't. I personally think it was from a family member, and if the family member is then pointed out, it could cause a complete reshuffle of this case.
Miss Matney claimed through counsel she felt unsafe at the notice location, a known and well-regarded law firm in Bluffton. Less than a week before her deposition was scheduled to occur was the first time Miss Matney, through her counsel, objected to the location that had been identified for months. March 21st, the defendants responded to and offered to move the deposition in the Maynard Nexon law firm in Columbia, which is located in a building with security, or hotel conference room in Bluffton. Miss Matney rejected both of these alternative locations, and instead insisted she be deposed at Miss Bannon's law firm. Why there? Miss Matney also insisted that her husband, a non-party, remember this one, this is also a crossover. Miss Matney also insisted that her husband, a non-party, be allowed to attend her deposition. Miss Matney failed to offer a location suitable to the Parker's defendants, so the Parker's defendants insisted that she appear at the place and time noticed in the subpoena.
I can tell you right now who that non-party is. That's going to be someone from the production. It won't be anyone else. It'll be from someone from either from the podcast production or from the company itself.
On March 25th, less than 36 hours before the scheduled deposition, she filed an emergency motion to set deposition location. Parker's defendants filed a response opposing it on March 26th. On March 27th, at the scheduled time, Miss Matney did not appear at the deposition at the notice location in Bluffton. Instead, she informed the Parker's defendants via Zoom that she was located at the Bannon law firm in Bluffton, and there she would remain alongside her husband as well as plaintiff's counsel, who appeared at the office of Bannon law firm in Bluffton. Counsel for the Parker's defendants informed Miss Matney that they would remain notice location until 11 a.m. and that if she did not appear, they would pursue all remedies available. Miss Matney and her counsel, along with the plaintiff's counsel, elected to remain at the other location and did not appear at the noticed location.
Hang on a minute. Hang
Yeah.
on. Rewind. Why has a non-party suddenly turned into the plaintiff's lawyer?
Huh?
The non-party, at the top it says non-party, yeah? With her husband and a non-party, correct?
No, her husband is the non-party.
Oh, right. Sorry, my bad. Disregard. Carry on as you were.
Yeah. Miss Matney also insisted her husband, a non-party, be allowed to attend her deposition.
Right. So why is the plaintiff's lawyer there?
Because you're entitled to have representation at a deposition.
Oh, I'm getting confused now because the plaintiff isn't the plaintiff for the other people?
No, she also, as well as, her as well as plaintiff's counsel. Yeah, the plaintiff's counsel is Mark Tinsley, who also appeared at the offices of Bannon Law Firm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Tinsley was there too. At 3 p.m. on March 27th, Ms. Matney filed a status update on emergency motion to set deposition location, wherein she relayed that she had appeared at the deposition location she had arranged with private security and waited until noon. Ms. Matney's social media posts from later that same day included pictures of her eating lemon pound cake with plaintiff's lead counsel, Tinsley, after the attempted deposition was adjourned, and toasting herself with a beverage in an outdoor location. She also posted pictures of herself, her counsel, and her husband having what appeared to be a celebratory meal outing in Savannah. The court observes that Miss Matney's posts memorializing these activities evidenced her intent to defy her obligation to appear at the noticed deposition location. All right, so Miss Matney did not offer a location for her deposition at any place other than Bannon Law Firm in Bluffton prior to her failure to appear. After the Parker's defendants filed their motion for rule to show cause, Miss Matney's ultimate offer to appear at other locations outside the Bluffton area, the law office of her podcast collaborator, Mr. Bland in Lexington, South Carolina, Miss Lindall's office in Charlotte, the Beaufort County Courthouse, or the other Bannon Law Firm locations in Savannah and Charleston areas. These social media posts were absent from Miss Matney's status update, but attached as exhibits to filings submitted by Parker's. I got a kick out of that one, didn't you? Yeah, that's funny.
That freaking footnote.
Mm-hmm. So basically, there's more. She finally sat for an in-person videotape deposition at Spartanburg Courthouse as directed by the court on April 8th. So the court also rejected Miss Matney's request that her husband, co-owner of her media business, allowed to attend her deposition, because that's not the way shit works. Like,
I personally think they were trying to make a story out of this.
Oh, yes, because she's still trying to make a story out of this, because this is the South Carolina corruption right here.
Who was it in the 80s? Or was it in the 80s or 90s? Someone did exactly the same thing and they turned it into a big fuck stink.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I need to look that up. I don't know if it was over there or over somewhere in Europe or somewhere. I don't know. I'll look it up.
So there's more. May 13th, Matney filed an objection to non-sworn contempt motion. Like, Parker's defendants responded.
But, I mean, she did, like, this is where I get confused with American law. I mean, if she offered other locations, why were the other side not willing to accept that?
Because she never offered she never complained about the location for months. So, kind of plain dirty, but for months. And the judge says it, for months.
Yeah.
It's like what he keeps repeating.
Why is this deja vu? Why am I getting deja vu here?
Because it's deja vu. It's deja vu. It's deja vu. She again, he says this again. She again did not raise any concerns with the location of the notice deposition. So she was using it as an excuse, and they knew it. So they called her bluff, basically.
Yeah. Well, we know someone else who does that shit as well.
Just saying. However, this is where the judge was like, F this bitch.
Nope.
And nuked the whole thing.
Yeah.
Just like my stream is about to get nuked for using that certain words. So, analysis. Courts have no more important function than to perform the administration of justice and to ensure their orders are obeyed. The appellate courts of the state have zealously defended the rights of trial courts to vindicate their authority by way of contempt. The court must maintain order and decorum. And the power of contempt is essential to enforce orders and to ensure the administration of justice. Without such power, the administration of law would be in danger of being thwarted by the lawless.
Well, now we know why she has to pay so much.
Well, and here's the thing. Other states, take fucking note. Florida, where the fuck are you?
Yeah, take notes, you lazy.
Like, y'all.
Place words here.
Miss Matney was required by valid subpoena to be deposed March 27th at the notice location within the time limit set by the March 26th order. Within certain parameters, the rules generally permit the noticing the deposition to pick the deposition location. A party who wants to depose a person by oral questions must give reasonable written notice to every other party. The notice must state the time and the place of the deposition. If a deponent wishes to be deposed at a different location, it's incumbent upon her to secure either an agreement with the noticing party or seek a protective order from the court requiring the deposition be held in a different location.
And she didn't do any of that.
She didn't.
Nope.
The Parker's defendants, as the noticing party, chose a law firm in Bluffton, the same location that was noticed the first subpoena served on Miss Matney October 17th of 2025, and in every subsequent subpoena. Further, it is undisputed that no order of this court stayed, modified, or excused Miss Matney's obligation to appear for her deposition at the notice location on March 27th. At the April 7th, 2026 hearing, Ms. Matney testified that she received and understood the court's orders denying her motion to quash and motion to reconsider, and understood that as a result, she was required to sit for a deposition at the notice location. Ms. Matney did not raise any objection to the location in her original motion to quash or her motion to reconsider. She did not identify any safety concerns about the notice location as a basis for relief. It was not until March 20th, 4 days after her motion for reconsideration had been denied, that Ms. Matney first time raised any issue to the Parker's defendants with the notice location. It's just odd.
I just sent you a message.
Yeah, doesn't it?
100%.
Doesn't it?
Yep.
That's one of the reasons that this was so fascinating to me, is this sounds like Florida in just different form. And I have not listened to her podcast. She might be a great journalist. I have no idea. However, some of the shit you can't just not follow a court order because you don't feel like it.
Yeah, but here's my question. And like, look, you may want to call me every name under the sun. Hi, Stacey Knapp. You may want to call me every name under the sun, but let me ask you one question. Where was her counsel explaining this and pointing out, look, you need to do this, you need to do that? Why is there no mention of that? Why is nothing said about why? I mean, who does she have counsel?
The judge wouldn't say anything about her counsel because except for the motions to quash and the motions to reconsider, he would have no contact with her counsel. Remember?
No, I'm talking about her. Like,
and her lawyer may very well have said, hey, you need to do this, and she might be a difficult client. Who knows? Or her lawyer might be Bruce Matskin in female form.
I was just about to say that. I mean, so basically you make your bed, you lay in it, and like there's no excuse whatsoever. None whatsoever. The council failed her. She failed herself. And, at the end of the day, right, we all know what this is from number 15. If
Right.
you've got an informant, anyway, carry on. Go on. Mute me. Go on.
So in her emergency motion, while Ms. Matney argued that her primary concern was security due to persistent harassment, she also raised an issue with the size of the notice location that had only one bathroom. Just wait.
Wait, what?
Just wait. Ms. Matney subsequently argued that her concern was that the bathroom was shared and open to anyone and thus presented a reasonable security risk. Mr. Tinsley, however, testified at the April 7th hearing that the bathroom was locked and required a code. In any event, the court finds that Ms. Matney's stated concerns regarding the size of notice locations in its bathrooms does not constitute good cause for her failure to appear for the notice deposition. The court notes that we are $35 away from the mute spawn for 5 minutes button. Just in case anybody wants to know. Marcus King, thanks for the $9.99 super chat. Yep.
What, again? Jesus Christ, I can't get a fucking break.
Ooh.
Just let me know when. No, but here's the thing, though. I mean, like, if this makes as much sense as a fight in a spaceship, why is she going on about? What is she? Does she poo gold? Is she like the duck from the Jolly Jack and the Beanstalk? Like, is she the duck that gives birth to big fucking eggs made of gold?
And just wait. The court notes that it's troubled by Miss Matney's counsel's tolerance and facilitation of her decision to disobey the subpoena and the court's order.
Did I just say something?
Like I said, cart horse.
No, shut up. No, I wasn't. I didn't even say that.
Cart horse.
It means I'm paying attention. Thank you very much, you short git.
An example of their consequences for hiding behind your personal definition of constitutional rights, even after those believed rights are rebuked by a judge. I'm sure her attorney did warn her. Or she has the female bubbles.
Like, when's this happening then? When's this mute happening?
Whenever I get $15 more from chat.
Oh, God. Don't do it, Jeff. Don't do it.
Don't worry. Don't worry. Ms. Matney argues that she has not acted with bad purpose either to disobey or disregard the law, which is necessary to support her finding of contempt, where a contemptor is unable without fault on his part to obey an order of the court. He is not to be held in contempt. And they cite Smith Cooper v. Cooper. In Smith Cooper, the court addressed a commonly recognized principle that a person cannot be held in contempt of court where he is financially unable to comply with a court-ordered support obligation. Where an order requires something that is impossible for a person to follow, the failure to adhere is not a contemptuous behavior. I'm assuming that has something to do with child support. Because the name of the case, Smith Cooper v. Cooper, and that he cannot be held if he's financially unable to comply with a court-ordered support obligation. I'm assuming that had to do with child support. I can't guarantee that. That would just make sense. Because I know some people who have to pay child support for children that they have to work overtime in order to pay child support and pay their rent.
No, Jeff, you absolute freaking... I swear to God. I swear. I fucking...
Hold on.
He did, didn't he?
I'm thinking so. Oh, hold on.
He did, didn't he?
Hold on. 6 minutes since you only needed 30.
Oh, you... here we go. How long?
6 minutes.
Oh, Jeff, you fucking sham.
4:26. Let's go. All right. Contemptuous behavior, which tends to bring the authority and administration into laws into disrespect may also support a finding of contempt. When asked directly whether she decided not to go to the notice location, Miss Matney answered affirmatively. Attending the deposition at the notice location was not impossible. She had a true choice, had the ability to appear for the deposition, and she and her counsel chose to appear at a different location willfully and refused to attend the deposition at the notice location. She was physically able to attend, and she was neither hospitalized nor physically unable to travel. I mean, 2, Miss Matney failed to establish a valid defense or inability to comply with the subpoena or March 16th order. I mean, she, Miss Matney's asserted safety concerns were based primarily on the alleged online harassment by one individual, James Seidel, who Miss Matney described as a stalker and a convicted felon. Miss Matney argued that his social media obsession is subjectively extremely concerning to her and her husband. Reviewing examples of Miss Matney filed with the court, Mr. Seidel's online conduct involved critical comments and what can best be described as mocking or taunting directly at Miss Matney. However, none of the posts filed with the court concerning Mr. Seidel contained any physical threats towards her. Ooh, I know that Spawn's biting his tongue because he got a comment for that. So we're going to go back to that. Are we seeing common threads between South Carolina and Florida? And Georgia's trapped right in the middle. The court notes Mr. Seidel was not convicted of a violent offense. He pleaded guilty to misusing a federal loan money during the COVID-19 pandemic and was sentenced to a 5-year probationary term. There's no evidence in the record that Mr. Seidel's purported harassment had been the subject of any criminal prosecution or civil litigation. At the April 7th hearing, Ms. Matney testified that prior to March 27th, she had not filed a police report or obtained a restraining order against Mr. Seidel. Ms. Matney testified that she was in the process of taking out a restraining order against him. However, at the June 22nd hearing, Ms. Matney acknowledged that she had not yet sought or obtained such an order. Basically, he was probably critical of her reporting, of her actions, and she can't take criticism. Because, people that can't take criticism automatically go to, he's harassing me, she's harassing me. And it's, no, I'm using my First Amendment to tell you what I think of you. I mean, and we'll get to that tomorrow. Oh no, he made fun of her. Never. I know, right? Almost anything within reason to grift for Squid, I'll do it. Oh, he's enjoying every second of this, though. All right. Well, she argued in her emergency motion that she has online harassers who show up at public appearances and court proceedings and send her mail and text messages. At the June 22nd hearing, Ms. Matney acknowledged that the alleged harassment by Seidel had been entirely online, and he has not attempted to contact her directly or in person. Oh, so basically he's mean in a Facebook group. At this hearing, Mr. Bland likewise testified that he was not aware of Mr. Seidel making any physical threats towards Matney. And I don't, in some point, there's a time and a place you say what you feel and then you let it go, because at the end of the day, repeatedly criticizing people who don't give a shit about, who don't take criticism well, it's kind of pathetic. It's like it's one thing if like, hey, move your mic closer, or your mic sounds, adjust your mic settings, or hey, try this, might make your stream better. And just going, you suck at life and you're going to get sued. Yeah. And this right here. He can't spell people right, but, we're like 51 away from 500. I know, right? That is what originally led me down this freaking rabbit hole of her contempt order. Was this sounded awfully like, this was the first document that I actually read. And I'm like, oh, online criticism equals harassment. Doesn't that sound familiar? Like, I mean, yeah, just, So Ms. Matney relies solely on information and belief and well-sourced rumors, and there's no persuasive evidence to report or support her assertion. As for the notice location, she was unable to articulate any specific concrete safety threat unique to the notice location that would excuse compliance with the subpoena. Just, thus, nothing prevented her from taking these security measures at the notice location, as she subsequently acknowledged the security guard that she hired for the deposition could have accompanied her to the notice location, and he presumably would have secured his location as Ms. Matney desired. Hey, it's 4:26, you can come back. Additionally, Ms. Matney's posts on social media, which were entered into evidence at the April 7th hearing, are inconsistent with her argument that she did not appear because she believed she would be in an imminent danger at the notice location. Just, a long-handled shoehorn actually makes a good foot scratcher. Just gonna say. Additionally, Ms. Matney's posts on social media, which were entered into evidence at the April 7th hearing, are inconsistent with her argument that she did not appear because she believed that she would be in imminent danger at the notice location. Yeah, let's not go to a law firm in Bluffton because we're in imminent danger, but let's travel the 10 miles to Savannah and go outside and eat outdoors for lunch. But we're in imminent danger just across the state line in South Carolina.
So what you were saying?
Did you have anything to say about this? Miss Matney acknowledged the alleged harassment by Mr. Steidel has been entirely online.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, I mean, like, is she in contact with all those idiots from the anti-what the hells?
Now you understand why this, like, when I read this was like, oh my God, this is like life imitating art, so to speak. It was like, are they twins? And
I personally think that, like, on weekends they all meet up somewhere in the swamps and fucking share spit or something. I don't know. But that, yeah, I mean, that is like, yeah. Hence why deja vu. It's like different place, different people, but same beginning.
Before I knew that this was connected to, as deep as it was, to the Murdaugh stuff, this was very, it was like the whole goal of my initial wanting to talk about this was to not talk about Hales, but to show that the similarities between other states and things happening in other states, and what is the line between people being a reporter.
Oh, for crying out freaking loud. I just can't freaking win here.
You just can't.
How long?
I don't know. Hold on. It's yet again, sheepherder.
Again? Irish git.
Oh.
I tell you one thing, I so hope that you have a fucking itch in a place that you can't reach.
I got an itch in a place I can't reach right now.
Right. Oh no. Right. So how long? How long this time?
5. I can reach it.
Come on.
I can reach it with my left hand, but I can't reach it with my right hand, and somebody's got my left arm. Oh, you were thinking the same thing? Like, oh, love you, Spawn. Felicia, 1 week. We appreciate your generosity towards my channel. I don't know where this channel would be without you and your family. Like, I really don't. I got no idea. Like, this channel would not be. That's the second channel would not be where it is without your family. All right. Oh my goodness. So additionally, Ms. Matney's post on social media, Matney had posted that she does not think Parker's defendants have the right to depose her, and she is fighting back. She has expressed her defiance for the court and its orders, characterizing the denial of her motion to quash as bullshit. She posted that she would rather go to jail than sit in the same room as counsel for Parker's defendants for this deposition. After refusing to appear for her deposition, she made post celebrating that she stood her ground, that the deposition did not take place. You know, there's just certain things that you don't want to do, and taunting the court, I feel like, is one of them. No matter what side you're on, taunting the court and the court's orders, I feel, is never going to go well. Never. While she may have been more comfortable at her desired location, the court finds Miss Matney's testimony that she feared for her safety to such an extent that she could not attend the deposition at the notice location, the law firm in Bluffton, with a security guard surrounded by her attorneys, is not credible. Moreover, there's no persuasive evidence in the record to support Miss Matney's repeated assertions that the Parker's defendants and their attorneys pursued her deposition to harass and bully her. I think what she's viewing as harassment is the repeated subpoenas. But if you would have responded to the first subpoena back in October, done your deposition back in October or November, this all would have been over with, and they wouldn't have had to send out repeated subpoenas. All right. So the court further observes Parker's defendants offered to conduct the deposition at the law office in Columbia, which would have provided the security Miss Matney desired, as its location on the 7th floor of a bank building with limited access and security guards. She declined, arguing that she could not travel to Columbia despite subsequent offering Eric Bland's office in Columbia, Lexington, South Carolina, or her counsel's office in Charlotte, North Carolina. I mean, prior to the deposition, Parker's defendants also offered to conduct the deposition at a hotel in Bluffton and split the costs. Miss Matney, however, insisted on the location she had unilaterally chosen in Bluffton. Hey, Snipe. To be clear, Miss Matney generally has a First Amendment right to state her opinions about this case to the parties and the court on social media and during her podcast, and those posts do not form the basis for the court's findings of contempt. However, the First Amendment does not preclude the court from considering these posts. That's the thing. You have the right to say whatever you want. However, with the freedom of speech comes the consequences that you can say whatever you want, but you are not free from the consequences of your actions. Island, how are you? Good to see you. So this is just a rabbit hole. So First Amendment does not preclude the court from considering your posts, which is why be careful what you post on social media when you are involved in litigation, even if you are a non-party who is subpoenaed. If you receive a subpoena for anything, keep your fucking mouth shut. Not legal advice. I am not a lawyer. That is just friendly advice from someone who doesn't trust anybody. Spawn, you can come back now. Stroke. It's been fun muting Spawn. Yes, for every $50 that we've received today, it's been mute Spawn. Spawn's on strike now. But remember, those posts which have been attached to pleadings or otherwise appropriately before this court when asserting Miss Matney's credibility and whether she has just cause for her willful failure to appear at the notice location. If you want the court to consider posts on social media, they have to be attached to a court document. Right,
now I'm back. 5 minutes. I fucking stick to that.
That was like 7 minutes, but okay.
No, it wasn't. It was 5. 5 minute, 1 second and 73 fucking whatever.
How much were you cussing at the screen while you were muted?
At the beginning, there was an extreme a lot of curse words that were going directed towards fucking shithead. I hope he does have an itch somewhere where he can't reach and he falls out of bed. But then at the same time, I thought it was absolutely freaking hilarious, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, how much were you cussing at the screen because of what I've read?
I to be perfectly honest with you, I mean, I feel that like this whole case in Florida has gave me some sort of new PTSD, and this here is making me want to swear even more than I freaking do, and I'm trying to cut down on swearing. So what the fuck?
So this
Sorry.
is also an important crossover
Don't do it,
distinction
Jeff.
to pay attention to.
Don't do it, Jeff.
So Miss Matney has stressed during hearings that she is a non-party who has nothing to do with this case. She's repeatedly represented to the court she has no relevant information related to this litigation except for reporting on it, and that Parker's defendants and their attorneys are using their deposition and this contempt proceeding to harass and punish her for her reporting on the Murdaugh case and to silence her.
No, stop. No. Fuck no. No. Go back to fucking paragraph 15. There's the reason why you're having your ass kicked by the courts. Paragraph 15 explains it all.
I don't have that document up anymore.
No, but it's the fact that she has gained information that was privileged information. And here she is, and then she didn't want to go. I'll fucking mute myself.
But no, finish it.
I mean, is she related to fucking LNMLP? Because I tell you one thing, you get the opportunity, you act like a fucking victim. Oh, and the toilets are not secure. I mean, is your shit made of gold? And the thing is, you're basically trying to make a story out of this. So after you've paid everything off and everything's done and over with, you're going to be writing books, making freaking Okay, I'm going to my fucking quiet place. Be right back.
All right, so finishing this.
No, sorry, let me just finish. I mean, seriously, like you have to be. I'm pissed now, right? You have to be. They must have kicked you when on the day of the birth for anyone to take this in any shape or form serious. You've got an informant who gave you privileged information. You are trying to make money out of it, which, by the way, it's in these documents, right? You've got I mean, like, you would have to be a blind Irish Chinese mine detector walking through a minefield to not see how stupid this is.
Okay.
End of sentence. I'm done. That's all I wanted to say.
However, the judge thinks her assertions lack evidentiary support. In denying her motion to quash and her motion for reconsideration, the court already determined Ms. Matney's deposition testimony was relevant and the deposition was to proceed. Depositions are a normal part of the civil discovery process. And again, there is no persuasive evidence before this court which would support Ms. Matney's allegations that she's being harassed or unjustly treated by the Parker's defendants or their counsel. Importantly,
do you know why she didn't want to do that? Because they would have asked her the simple questions like they've done to freaking Lizard Lady, and then they would have turned around and said, so, how did you get this information, and how did you get the picture of the deceased? Freaking seriously. I mean, like, I richly need to be a freaking blind Irishman walking over a fucking minefield.
Oh, shit. Here we go. Jeez. Oh, my goodness. I hear Mrs. Fawn laughing. One curse word, then mute, please. Thanks for the $15 Ko-fi.
I mean, seriously, like, oh, not again.
This is fun.
How long this time?
Let's just go 3 minutes because we have final thoughts after I get done with 4 pages.
Oh,
so.
fuck's sake. Hang on a minute. Let me get me figured. But
oh my God, this is hilarious. Oh my God. All right. Because after this, I have to go to work in like whenever the dude gets home. So Miss Matney has repeated this narrative that her podcast and social media attacking Parker's defendants and occasionally the court itself. Chief Justice John Kittredge recently noted that issues facing the judiciary of half-truths and false narratives that circulate on social media, podcasts, and other outlets masquerading as journalism, attacking our justice system, and observed that ethical restraints prohibit judges from responding no matter how false or outrageous the allegations may be. However, when the same narratives are presented to the court and entered into evidence, as has been done here, the court has a duty to assess their validity and has done so to the extent appropriate in considering and weighing all of the evidence here. Ooh, that was strong. That was strong. Yeah, the Mrs. Spawn giggles was the best. That was the best. Miss Matney's stated reason for failing to comply, the notice location was not sufficiently safe for her, is not supported by evidence or credible testimony. Oh. So, having found Miss Matney in civil contempt, the court orders her to reimburse Parker's defendants for the costs they incurred in enforcing the subpoena and the court's prior order, including reasonable attorney's fees. And these are not cheap attorneys. So, a motion for reconsideration is an extraordinary remedy that is intended to provide a dissatisfied litigant with a second opportunity to relitigate issues already decided by the court. Rather, reconsideration is generally appropriate only where there has been an intervening change in controlling law, newly discovered evidence, or a clear error of law resulting from manifest injustice. Ms. Matney's motion for reconsideration satisfied none of these standards. This judge is letting her have it. Yeah, I work with you tonight. Ms. Matney's multiple motions supporting memorandum have required Parker's defendants to devote substantial time and resources responding to arguments that lack merit and have been previously adjudicated. These unnecessary filings impose financial burdens on the Parker's defendants that would not have been incurred but for Ms. Matney's conduct. I mean, just, this is, such sanctions are necessary to protect the integrity of the judicial process. Therefore, ordered that Parker's defendants motion to hold Ms. Matney in contempt for willfully failing to comply with a duly issued subpoena, and the orders of the court is granted. Oh, boy. This court awards the Parker's defendants $171,500 for attorney's fees and costs. $39,900 is awarded to the law firm of Bannister, Wyatt, and Stelvey. $45,950 is awarded to the law firm of Deborah Barbier, and $85,650 the law firm Maynard Nexon. So that's $171. It's $176 total. The court therefore the court also believes a fine, in addition to the above references costs and expenses, is necessary here to deter similar conduct in the future and promote respect for the law. The court therefore imposes a fine of $5,000. Said fine is due and payable within 60 days of this order. So she has $171,500 in attorney's fees and $5,000 in fines to the court. I mean, you kind of got, this all could have been avoided. So this did not have to happen. You can believe that she's a legitimate journalist. You can believe Parker's attorneys were aggressive. You can question their motives, their fees, and whether they were using discovery to make her life difficult. All of those can be true at the same time, and she still has to comply with the court's order. Because at the end of the day, it's not Parker's making her sit for this deposition. It was the court order. And the judge did not rule that Mandy had participated in a conspiracy. He did not find that she worked for Mark Tinsley, received money from him, or helped leak Mallory Beach's private information. He ruled that the Parkers have shown enough relevant evidence to question her under oath. There is a difference. Yes, interesting patterns of conduct. That is for damn sure. Filing another motion didn't automatically stay the deposition. Appearing on Zoom from a location is not the same as physically going where the subpoena required. And once the court interpreted the pound cake post and public commentary as celebration rather than fear, because when you say you're scared of something, but then you appear to be happy and celebrating at an outdoor location with lemon pound cake and drinks, her credibility falls apart. And this may sound harsh for me, but y'all know me, I'm kind of harsh. It's ultimately the authority of the court, not whether the underlying litigants are likable. I don't have to like Parkers to understand that they had a point in some of the things. And Spawn, you can come back. So I also think Parker's request for more than $310,000 deserves some. I think that was a money grab. Even the judge thought that was a money grab by reducing it to about half of that. But $171,500 in court in legal fees and a $5,000 fine to the court is still substantial, and a substantial consequence for a missed deposition, even the one the court attributes the expenses to months and months of unnecessary litigation. So, where do we go from here?
Preferably to someone who knows how to fucking take all this shit out of our heads.
Well, yes. So, and this is not even over, but this is why we investigate things before we react to them. Because once a judge issues an order, you'd better understand the difference between challenging it and disobeying it. And we need to understand next what Parker's actually asked Mandy under oath, whether it's their theory about the relationship with Mark Tinsley had substance, and whether this extraordinary sanctions survives an appeal. And if it does not survive an appeal, what about the GoFundMe that she started? What happens to all that money? Does she return it or does she keep it?
Me personally, I think she. How can I put this? I personally think that she made her bed. She thought she was going to get rich scheme, and it's backfired. And now everything that she's thinking of earning from the special news story or the documentary, that's all going to go back into paying off this. The second thing is, I want to know who the person was who gave her that information, because at the end of the day, she was the one who look. Someone gave her confidential information, and she's using it to publicize and to get rich. This has now backfired on her. Had she kept her mouth shut, as she went to the deposition and answered the questions truthfully, right? I know that you hear stories about journalists protecting informants and stuff like that, right? But we're talking about individuals who lost their life, and for someone to give confidential information to a journalist, I personally think she deserves that and more, as far as I'm concerned. And I think she got off lightly from the judge with $171,000. I think she got off lightly, really. You know, I mean, but the thing is, I am getting so much deja vu with this case. It is like you've taken it from one place and you've placed it in another place, where unfortunately in one place, the unfortunate part is there was life lost. And in the other place, turtles were lost.
So I have to get going. However, final thoughts and kind of where we go from here. So next time we are following more of the files. So the confidential mediation materials had previously been unseen photographs of Mallory Beach and in her not alive state, somehow made their way into a documentary trailer. Vicky Ward said she received them from an investigative journalist named Greg Roman, but that only tells us who handed her the files not where those files originally came from, who authorized their release, and why they were circulating at all. So we are not showing the photographs. I will not be showing any of that. One, because YouTube doesn't like that, and two, out of respect for a dead teenager and her family. Thirdly, I don't want to be the next person on who's in line for litigation. No, I am reporting. I am not, and I am investigating something that is very interesting to me as to how this freaking happens all the time, where people insert themselves into places where they should not belong and then claim journalism privilege. So we are going to try to investigate of who had the files, where they came from, and who leaked them. So I will see you guys on the next episode of What the Fuck is Going On Here.
I think we need to dig deeper into the person who gave them that stuff. We need to dig into him. So send me his name and everything, and I'll do a little bit of research on him.
Okay.
Yes.
Snipe,
And by the way, next time you want to silence me, it's going to cost you. Just imagine just imagine Dr. Evil, $1 billion.
Thank you to all in chat for playing along with a mute spawn for $50 game. That was quite enjoyable.
I feel bullied and victimized. I need
Are you harassed?
I feel harassed and victimized and bullied, and what else do they say? Defamed and slandered and slandered and harassed. Hey?
All right, guys. Until then, I will see you guys on the next one. And please remember, before you react to anything, investigate the way you feel and see if your feelings are valid or just media manipulation. And try not to be a twat waffle.